All right, thank you everybody for being here. It is 2:30 or 2:31. It's 2:31, and I'd like to call the land bank meeting to order. Appreciate everybody being here. We regret the change in time that's necessitated by county legislature meeting that's happening a little bit later on that Jess and I both need to be at because our administrative services grant is on that agenda. So, having said that, welcome everybody here, and I do appreciate those who could make it. We had a few who couldn't make it, and that is again our issue, and that we moved the meeting time. So we all depends them. We do have minutes that have been previously circulated from the October 22nd meeting. May not be November. Not be November. So we have a October 22nd minutes that have been circulated. Any thoughts or suggestions for changes?
It moves that you can accept it.
All right. Thank you, Mike and Tom. Are there any further discussion on that? If not, all in favor of accepting the minutes from October 22nd, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? It carries. All right. Then moving on, we've got a lot of great, exciting stuff for us today. Jess, why don't you take it away?
All right, so director's report. Our city ARPA and land use initiative phase 2 rehabilitation project updates. Currently land bank has 7 properties included in our program. 34 Andrews Ave is still for sale through our realtor, John Farrell. The price has been reduced to $139.9. There have been several showings of the home, but no strict offers to date. So working with John Farrell to try to figure out what we can do to get the ball rolling. Now, if anyone has any ideas, let us know. We're open to anything. Yep.
I mean, I think our most important factor is to get a family or an individual into the home who can use that opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So as it relates to 52 Beechwood Street, there's a resolution before the board today, for sale of property. We'll talk more about that, a little bit later, but if the buyer is, buyers are qualified and I think it's affordable homes program. Tioga General Contracting is continuing their work at 33 Elm Street. Aaron, Rob, and I took a site visit there yesterday to see the progress going along really nicely. They have until early January 2025 to complete the project. So put that one for sale sometime next year. If anyone wants to go see that, happy to set that up. Malarkey construction is underway, 8 Grade Street. That's received building permits. The roof's been replaced. The work is fully underway. We're expecting a draw pretty soon there for that project. Bids for 170 Waller Street were opened on November 26th. After receiving 4 bids, Malarkey Construction was identified as the lowest responsible bid. We had a qualification meeting with the contractor early last week to review the scope of work, like we do with every GC contractor we have. So there is a resolution before the board today to consider awarding the contract. As it relates to 14 Economic Avenue, the internal demolition was completed by Tioga General Contracting. That's completely done. We've been invoiced and we're processing for payment. The bid package for GC is out, and that was issued last week with help of L2 Studio Architecture. Our pre-bid conference is tomorrow at 9 a.m. And bids are due back by January 7th, 2025, or anticipated award date or January. There is a resolution before the board today to acquire 181 Holly Street from the city of Binghamton. As the board knows, former through property that was acquired by the city of Binghamton through a settlement. City council approved the sale in November. So on behalf of Land Bank, I'd like to thank the mayor, his team, and city council for their assistance and support of the acquisition or transfer to Land Bank. Their confidence in Land Bank's track record of successful projects throughout the city has supported us in more ways than one. So thank you so much to the city, the mayor, and city council. With that said, soon after the acquisition, our plan would be to undertake environmental testing and abatement on site. Then I'd like to issue an RFP for the redevelopment of the property similar to our project. As well as reissue the RFP for the development of 21 Walnut Street, similar to Freaking. My thought would be to offer a $100,000 development incentive and ARPA funds for each project, as well as encourage the respondent, if they're selected, to also apply for BRIP funds once that program is up and running, because that would also be considered for full percent, so long as the respondent meets the terms of the program. We'll also be keeping an eye out, working with Wendy and her department, as well as county leadership to continue to identify properties to include our respective rehabilitation funding programs. Currently, we have been, or will be renovating 6 single-family homes and two family homes. Our agreement with the city calls for a total of 10 to 12 single or 2-family homes to be renovated by the end of 2026. So we need at minimum 2 more homes. We would like to do obviously more than that. We do have funding to actually do more than that. So we'll be sure to keep the board apprised as to when we may be able to acquire more properties. Just due to the source ruling, figuring out how to move forward. Our county ARPA and Land Initiative Phase 2 demolition project updates. There's a resolution for the board today to consider acquisition of 737 Main Street in Epcot. If approved by the board, we anticipate beginning environmental testing of the site as we have clearance for non-capital activities on property. Just the forewarning to the board and actually the top two. Once we get our environmental review for HDR completed, we will probably be approaching the town of Union to do another seeker review for us, because that's what we'll need as we've exceeded the amount of acreage the town of Union that we can demolish into this particular program. But the town of Union helped us last time with the for native seeker review for the former rec carpet in. So this one is a little less time sensitive. Because we don't have like a set demo date quite yet. We want to. So that next demolition package, would include 737 West Main Street, our whole is, and as well as 61 Park Avenue. Next is our land initiative administrative funds or operating funds. We're tracking our expenses. This is the final year of our operating grant unless HCR reviews the program, which we believe they will, as there was funding included in the 24-25 year state budget under the HO reality section for land banks, which is consistent with what. So we do anticipate that. Our initiative, our land bank initiative Phase 2 capital funds, generally speaking. The grant term is coming to a close at the end of the year. We're continuing to very quickly through the grant on many of our deliverables. We have hit the 75% threshold to reapply for more funding. We are on track to spend approximately 90% of our award by the end of the year. And our understanding from HCR is that the remainder of our award will be rolled over into 2025 and we will be eligible. We're eligible to apply right now. But I'm recommending that we wait until 2025. Our vacant rental improvement program, as well as our aware land bank was awarded our full asset of 1.11 million in bigger funds by HCR. This program is intended to assist private mom and pop style landlords with small grants to renovate vacant and unhabitable units. Rob and I issued this morning an RFP for marketing services for the land bank, as well as RFQ for contractor pre-qualification. The RFP for marketing services, HCR is looking for us to incorporate a robust marketing campaign for the funding to ensure that we are reaching our target audience and including equal opportunity for folks to apply. So that's something that they were looking for in the application and for us to roll out. Facilitating the program. We'll share both of these solicitations with all board members. Please feel free to share with any interested applicant you believe will be qualified. We anticipate formal action by the board to award professional service contract for marketing. If any board members are interested in serving on the review committee for the RFP for marketing, please let us know. Otherwise, Rob and I will receive the review and make a recommendation at our January meeting. As it relates to the RFQ for contractor services, we do not anticipate any formal action by the board to add them to a pre-qualified list. They just either meet the qualifications or they don't. The formal action by the board will be contracts at the time the work needs to be completed in assisted units consistent with the maintenance procurement policy, very similar to our board. Rob and I are working on a VRIP handbook similar to our CDBG program and ARPA program before. This document will help guide landlords to the process of applying for funds and really understanding all of it. We are hopeful that we'll hold some sort of press event or media event when we are ready to go live with the full program, and we'll be sure to keep you informed of those details when it comes. We just say that to be probably, maybe February, once the program is ready to launch. Our small business tipping fee waiver program, there is an application before the board today to provide a tipping fee waiver for demolition in the city of Newton located on the so we'll talk about that once we get to that item. As a reminder, applications are capped at $15,000 each, and small businesses are defined as 15 employees or less. Last but not least, our administrative items. There are several resolutions before the board today I wanted to bring to your attention. One is the annual shared services agreement with the county planning department to house and staff the land bank. There is also that is also before the legislative consideration this month. We greatly appreciate the county taking support of our organization. There's also a resolution to amend a contract with Mondorf and Fenwick with a pending federal single audit of 2024's financials. And our assistant director was added as a user to our vendor payment software. We are being close to the overall contract limit, and that's the reason for the amendment. And as a side note, we will need to procure for accounting services before the end of 2025 as our contract with Mondorf. As previously mentioned, there are several funding opportunities that you may consider applying for soon. One is the next round of Saving Initiative 2 funding, as well as potentially home buyer development funds. And our next land bank association meeting is next Thursday.
Good. That's all she has.
That's it.
That's it. That is a great job, Jess. It's a lot of good stuff happening. So, are there any questions for Jess or Rob?
In general, how much, are we expecting to have funded for next year?
Like a budget for next year? Well, it's going to be amended significantly because we're awarded BRIP funding, so we're probably going to throw.
You're talking about project funds?
Project funds.
Harder to exactly say, but.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know the number off.
Just all figures. So the approved budget for next year overall is just short of 1.7 million, so you got to add another piece of 1.1 on top of that.
1.1 or maybe be a little bit more conservative. Probably budget for maybe 600,000, anticipating that like it's a 24-month grant period, so we should cover some of it.
1.5, 2.5. That's on my range.
That include the ARPA capital projects, the Beaver capital projects.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if we apply for when we apply for more land initiative funding, that'll require another budget amendment. If we apply for more home buyer development for this.
So paper will be closer to 3.
We'll see that. Yep. Any other comments or questions for Jess? Thank you. Scott, thank you for work you're doing too. Appreciate that, both of you. All right. Now we move on to the public and community advisory panel comment section. We have any members of the public who wish to address the board? We do. We'd ask you to introduce yourself and please keep your comments focused on land bank related topics for no more than 5 minutes. Anybody wish to address the board? Okay. We will declare that portion of the meeting closed. And let us move on then to our first item of business, which is a resolution authorizing the executive director to enter an agreement related to 44 Whitney Avenue.
All right, so the land bank received an application from 44 Whitney Avenue LLC seeking up to $50,000 waiver credits for the demolition of their neighboring property at 42 Whitney Avenue in Binghamton. They plan to demolish the condemned structure, structurally condemned, to help clean up light in the community and help expand the neighboring business. At some point in the future, they anticipate building a garage to house some of their equipment. We do have Nick Lorenzo here with us today, talk a little bit about his application and what he plans to do. I just want to quickly forewarn the board. It was our understanding that this property may have not needed to go to COD, but there's some potential that it might need to go to COD. We were getting, like an answer from one city official that was not specific with another. So there is reason to believe that this may not need to go to COD. So I just wanted to keep this on today's agenda, just in case the demo just couldn't happen prior to the end of the year, but the applicant does recognize that if it doesn't happen prior to the end of the year, he will have to come to COD.
Having been a veteran of COD myself, I would anticipate that in Saskatoon COD, that's not,
It's not,
not remotely close to it. Yes,
so if, so the application would have to
Yes.
come before the board again, in early.
yes. Mr. Renzo, thank you for being here. Do you want to say anything about your application?
No, she pretty much covered it. To demo and have the property shovel ready for future development or, that's been a bit.
Excellent. You do it just putting aside COD for a minute, which none of us control.
Yes.
If they don't need to review, just stay doing the demo this year.
Yeah, I'll be on board, think about it.
Great.
I believe we may be able to reach some type of resolution.
Because I would just say, I know the executive probably told them this many times, is make sure you communicate with staff prior to doing it. We've run into one or two situations where people take the thing down and then we have to try to sort it out with the landfill, and it's never
For
a
sure.
good situation.
The foundation's collapsed on the house, so
Yeah.
there's some safety concerns, so he's still anticipating tomorrow. With the real truck. There's no problem with expenses on that.
It's structurally condemned, so it can come down with ATM.
It's not occupied.
No, that's a good thing. Over six.
Yeah. Yep. Good. Any questions? That's what we have here. Thank you for being here. Any other comments or questions about that?
I would just note one thing, also these contractors are very familiar with our.
Right.
Specifically waiting for seeing them.
Yes. They will not be reimbursed. No check that gets cut.
They don't.
Yes.
So the good thing about, the good thing about also being board is we're familiar with
Yes.
our contracts and our rules and regulations. So
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. We work with them a lot too.
Yep.
Good. All right. Excellent. Anything else you want to say, Jess?
Nope.
Or any other comments from the board? If not, then entertain a motion to authorize the executive director to enter into an agreement 44 Whitney Ave LLC to utilize a portion of land bank's tipping fee allocation for demolition of 42 Whitney Ave, the city of Bennington. Have a motion after all that. Steve, thank you. And Chris, thank you. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That carries. Okay, Jess, number, yes, congratulations. Yep. Resolution authorizing amendment to the contract on or then.
yes, so as the board may recall, it's been a while, but in 2022, we approved a resolution in late 2022 for an amount not to exceed $35,000 for modern and services. We're projecting to go approximately $2,000 over that, so $37,000 total. But I just want a little bit of a buffer there, so I'm asking for an additional $5,000 because we will need to undertake a federal stable audit for 2024 due to our federal spend. Their services include support for our audits, but there's in anticipation that there is going to be more work. There's a chance we can go over 2,000, but right now we're expecting approximately. I'm just asking for 5,000 and our proposed the proposed pricing for the 2025 year.
And we did budget stuff in our operating budget.
Yes.
Good. Good. I will tell you, I will say, they've been really good. I mean, the approval process for the paying the bills has been great. I know there's a whole bunch of stuff in the background that you guys work with, but even just on my end, not having to sign co-sign checks and things, to be able to review all the data that's up there on the background, great.
Yeah.
So good work on board. Any questions for that resolution? If not, entertain a motion to authorize an amendment to the contract with Montville for camping services. Chris, thank you. A second. Mike, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries. Item number 8, resolution awarding a contract to Malarkey Construction LLC for the renovation project at 170 Weller Street in the city of Binghamton.
This is, one of our affordable homes that we've sent out to bid. Like I said in my director's report, we had a qualification meeting where with the contractor, we reviewed the scope. We reviewed the fact that this particular contractor is also under contract for 8 Gray Street, so we talked about staffing or crews rather at both sites. We talked about, ensuring that he has really, has great understanding about what's going on at both sites. And this would be the first time that our land bank would have a GC under contract with 2 active projects. So we just want to make sure that's all covered, that assured by the contractor that he has approved, has the capacity to do both projects at once, so that is what we expect. So I'm asking, his total contract amount with a $15,000 field direct allowance is $210,000. So we don't anticipate going over $210,000. I am asking for $230,000. So I have exact a change order. There may be significant change orders that I would have to board know about, but this would just now, follow.
Yep, that's typical. Okay, 170 Weller Street, do we have any questions about that? If not, entertain a motion for a resolution awarding contract to Malarkey Construction for renovation of 170 building. Wendy, thank you. We have a second. Chris, thank you. You were raising your hand for that, correct? Yeah, okay. Any further discussion? Hey, if I see a signal, it's like being an auction. As a kid, my dad, it's like,
We'll take it.
so be careful, you're gonna buy me something. Okay, no other further discussion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that carries. Item number 9, a resolution authorizing renewal of the administrative services agreement with Broome County for the administration of Broome County Land Bank 2025. Yeah, I can talk about it. So as the board will recall, see you what I did, right? As the board will recall, the land bank has partnered with the county since the inception. We're very fortunate to have this agreement with the county. I think many land banks do not. Well, some just have staff that gotta do this part-time. Yep, we're very fortunate that county executive governor, Chairman Reynolds, and the rest of the legislature have been very good to the land bank. The county land bank staff, are the county employees that we contract with, pay their services. The executive director's salary and benefits are covered through a grant through the county, and the deputy director's salary benefits are covered through a state grant. We're very fortunate to have this agreement in place. It saves us from having to have an office space and have all the things that come with having staff. So we're really grateful this is in place again for this year. The county legislature will be voting on this at 4:15 today, which is what necessitated the meeting up. Just not need to be at that meeting. But this is the administrative services agreement that's before us. The county is doing their end this month, and this is our part of it. Any comments that I didn't hear any comments asked that?
I don't think so, though, just like Eric said, just for, basically administrative, where we asked the planning department for essentially like a quarterly voice, throughout the year to reimburse the county for, basic director salary. And that does come from.
Yep, and we're fortunate too that the county leadership, the county legislature was also favorably inclined to adjust compensation in line with the board's that. So that was nice too. So, okay, and I will say the land bank team always gets a lot of compliments, both from the county executive and from the legislature at meetings, including some individuals who are always pushing more. So we're very grateful for that. Okay, I think that's a symptom of signing working for together. So keep it up. All right, we have a motion to authorize renewal of the administrative services agreement with Broome County for 2020. Motion. Wendy, thank you. Second, Mike, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Now let me look here. We've got an executive session. We do want to go into that probably for purpose of number 11 and number 12. 12, what is it, 12?
One.
Oh, I don't think we can executive session on that, correct? We do need that on number 13. We don't need it number 14, and we probably don't need that on number 15, right?
Nope.
So my inclination, if the board would be agreeable to this, is to take things out of order. Let's take up the items that don't need executive session discussion. So again, those items would be number 12 and number 14 and number 15. Take them up now. That way, if anybody wants to take off or any of that, they can. And then I do anticipate after the executive session coming back and taking action on number 11, 13, right? Is the board okay with that approach? All right, then let's move on to items. Let's set aside the executive session for a moment. Set aside number 11. Let's go directly to number 12, which is resolution to authorize the acquisition of property in the city of Binghamton. Jess, what do you want to say about that?
So this property, and it's 181 Holly Street, the state of Binghamton, they acquired the property through a settlement of the former, Ice Management property. The city is essentially donating it to us for $1. And we anticipate, doing some environmental testing of the property using a funding source that we have for that, once getting that out of the way, then issuing our fee for development, similar to our, so we would be, so what I'm asking for the board is approval to acquire this from the city of Binghamton for $1.
Thank you. This is a new property. This is one where it could be a good story that comes out of that after a bad story of previous ownership. Yeah, and I know things went well in city council. So good work on that. Any questions on this project? Or anyone? Anyone calling? If not, entertain a motion to authorize the acquisition of property in the city of Binghamton. Chris, thank you. We have a second. Mike, thank you. Any further discussion? Not, all in favor, say aye. Okay, opposed? All right, housekeeping number 14. We have to, at the end of every year, set a date for our initial meeting where we elect leadership and some other housekeeping type stuff. The proposed date is what, Jeff?
3:30.
There it is. Be consistent with our normal scheduled meetings. Is there any questions about that? If not, I'd entertain a motion to set the 2025 annual board meeting for January 25th. That's 21st. We have a motion on that. Mike, Tom, thank you. All in favor, any further discussion? All in favor of setting our annual meeting for that date? Say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right, resolution authorized, number 15, resolution authorizing the executive director to enter into an agreement with the New York State Housing Trust Fund for our VRIP program. We talked about that previously. Do you want to give a
Yep.
10
So,
to 30-second?
the grant agreement that I included in the board packet is essentially standard language from HCR relates to their new or funding program. I have had a discussion with Paul Nelson about some of the areas and some of the language that's been used by HCR in the grant agreement, proposed questions to the state, receive some answers. Tomorrow we do have to participate in the first initial webinar with state, all the awardees of funding. So we anticipate there's going to be some questions and answers tomorrow. But I do want to express to the board, I'm just asking for authorization to execute this agreement, but I don't anticipate doing that until we find some resolution from the state or come to an agreement. I should say, come to an agreement with the state on some aspects of the program. One of them being the security instrument that the state wants to use to secure investment properties. You know, we want to make sure that landlords apply for the funding. They're encouraged to apply for the funding. They're placed to apply for funding. not making anything more difficult. So, but, this is what we can expect with a new funding source. They've had some, some challenges with, some teams, so the new program team hip, so we're working through all that, because it's very similar, so that's what
Are there any other land banks like this, or are you gonna be a trailblazer here?
here.
I love it, land banks and trailblazer, we get fun grant ones like this, like the last ones we had there. But good, okay. Yep. Any questions about this? Yeah, I think we already know because Jess announced it earlier, but this is one where it's going to require more than just our normal thing, right? We need to be able to identify who these owners are, which may not just be a list sitting somewhere that it was in Mike's desk or get it, but this is where you got to kind of go out and find people where they're at. And it's the marketing, 100%. That's it. And then putting together the contractor list. That doesn't limit people as to who they can use. There's a lot of back and forth that goes. This is much like the Main Street grant in Windsor years ago. This is a lot of back and forth with mom and pop type homeowners, landowners, property owners. There's going to be a challenge. So we know you guys are up for it, but it's the board to keep that in the back of your mind. So it's not quite as straightforward as, hey, here's a property, let's rent it and sell it. Okay. Any other comments or questions on this one? All right, then I entertain a motion to authorize the executive director to enter an agreement with the New York State Housing Trust Fund Corporation administration of the Land Bank Vacant Rental Improvement Program for 2025 through 2026. Christine, yes, second. Chris, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Okay, that carries. All right, so next, I would like to call for an executive session for the purposes of discussing the sale or acquisition of real property. Those two items are on the agenda. It's not a mystery as to what they are. Number 11, which is the sale of 52 Beethoven Street, is a recently renovated property under affordable homes program through ARPA funding for the city. And then the acquisition of property in the town of Union, located at 737 West Main Street, which is difference for all. So I would like to entertain a motion for executive session. I don't think it's going to take very long. When we come out, I do anticipate asking for board consideration of number 11 and number 13. I'm not aware of other business that will be coming before the board. Okay, thank you. We have a motion to go into executive session. Mike, thank you. Good second. Tom, thank you. All in favor of going into executive session, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. That wasn't too long, right? All right, back to the regular order of business. We're set, Rob, over there? All right, excellent, thank you. All right. Item number 11. Resolution authorizing the executive director to execute sales contract for the sale of 52 Beethoven Street, in the city of Binghamton, to Lloyd Tran, Michelle. Yeah. This is one of our city ARPA projects. It looks great over there. Should be very, really nice job. Really nice job. We appreciate the city's support, mayor and the city council. Do we have any questions related to this project? Jess, I would just ask what I always ask, they're qualified as it relates to income. And our consultant believes that they also can afford to live there after that. Okay, perfect. Good. Any other questions? If not, entertain a motion to authorize the executive director to enter the sales contract for sale of 52 Beethoven Street. Steve, Mike, thank you. We have a second. Tom, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, good. Item number 13, an exciting one. This relates to the property at 737 West Main Street in Endicott. This is the old former restaurant located adjacent to the old hotel. We acquired and demolished earlier this year. What do you want to say?
Coming to an agreement with the seller of the property, and, in order to fund the acquisition, just a reminder to the board, we have an extra $200,000 in our funding from the county that was awarded to us for the purposes of purchasing the property, and for the remainder of the purchase price. We have funding from our initiative grant approved by the president of the. So that's it.
Excellent. The idea here would be to bolt in this property and then include it in the soon to come demolition round. And combine the properties for eventual redevelopment.
That's it.
Good. Purchase price is $325,000. All right, any other questions on this, comments? If not, entertain a motion to acquire. Motion to authorize the acquisition of property from Eli Hudovich. That's what I'm going to do. Mike, thank you. We have a second, Tom, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Carries unanimously. Thank you. Is there any other business that come before the land bank board? Okay, the desk is clean, as they say. When is our next meeting, Rob?
January 21st.
As previously approved. Thank you. And we anticipate here, that will be our organizational meeting or annual meeting where we will elect officers and do other related house.
I would know, I believe Rob and I are gonna bring a few amendments to a few of our, organizational policies that we have. Like done a whole lot with over the past few years, like with our fever program, they want our organizational conflict of interest policy to also encompass, banking consultants, contractors and things of that sort. Our conflict of interest policy right now only covers for that. So they just want to make sure it's all the same. So that's like one of the examples. And then Rob and I are going to take a look at bylaws. We're just gonna kind of take a look at everything, probably bring it full.
Yeah. Couple of housekeeping, we'll have forms signed, so be ready for that. Some of them, right, forms to sign. Also, we want to take a quick look to see where everybody stands on their required ABO training. You probably already tracked that.
Yeah.
But
Everyone is up to date. This was the last one.
It's okay.
But
we send it out.
yeah, so everyone is current. I'll put that down.
Yep. I know one of the things Rob's working on too, take a look at your bio on the website, just any updates you got on that, good thing to do annually.
Yes.
Some of it was, like, I know mine was construction the way my fault, that was dated, right? Like, you can change it off, some people did not do it that way. But take a look at your bio, see if there's updates there. So, any other comments from the staff of the board? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Chris, you look like you're pointing and raising your hand.
Folks, but often I think you're like, he must.
Okay, Chris made a motion to adjourn, and we have a second by Mike. Any discussion of that? Well, that's not debatable, actually. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Bye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas. Thank you.